All right, friends, we're going to try this one more time. And we are super excited to hopefully get this baby in. So I'm going to be adding George Stoll in just a minute. So if you've been with us for the past 15 minutes, thanks for joining. We had some technical difficulties, but I believe we've got this baby going. So first off, if you're in the Bellevue area, our hearts are with you, as we know that you guys have obviously experienced the storms and everything. Is my goodness, and it's a big trigger for anybody. Hey, how's it going? It's a big trigger for anybody that was a part of the 2010 flood. So our hearts and prayers are with everybody in the community. And I'm going to be bringing in George Stoll. I think we finally have this working. Let's see if George can come in and talk with me here. George, can you see me? Okay. Can you? I can't hear you very well. I can't hear you super well. Can you turn your volume up for me, or can you? Do you have any headphones you can put in? So what I was saying is, hey guys, come on in. So what I was saying is we're going to be talking all things Easter this coming Sunday. I know that this is something that George has been looking forward to for a long time. George, I can hear you.
Can you hear me
I can hear
good?
you so much better now. And everybody, I can't believe this is finally working. It took us a bit.
This is normal for the path of the last
right.
year or
Exactly.
so.
Exactly. Well, George,
But we're here now.
We are here now. George, before you got on, I just was explaining everybody in the Bellevue area, our hearts and prayers are with you with obviously another flood. I mean, it wasn't anything like 2010, but it's a big trigger because, I mean, everybody remembers that. I know you had to go and get the trailer, right, and move that because of the flood.
Yeah, there was water everywhere around our house here. We live right off the Harpeth, and so fortunately, no homes in our development.
Good.
The barn that we were storing the trailer at took on some water.
Man. Well,
but yeah, our hearts and prayers are with
everyone. Absolutely. Well, now that we have this working, we're just going to take a little bit of your time today and talk about Easter Sunday. Now, if you've been following along with U Church, you know that we've been doing preview services every 2 weeks, and a lot of you have been able to attend. Obviously, we're still in a not normal phase with everything that's going on with COVID. We do have RSVPs in place. A lot of you are working through the RSVPs, and we really appreciate that. But Easter is obviously a traditionally a great time for new people to come and to visit a church. But we also want to make sure that you feel really comfortable because it can be overwhelming, especially when you add the RSVP element and all those kind of things. So this is just a quick conversation, really all things Easter, kind of some of the logistics of the kids and how you can RSVP and what to expect. But George, I think to start off, I'd really just like to have an open conversation just real quick on why Easter matters and why it may be even more meaningful following the year that we've all experienced.
Absolutely. We need a breather, a moment to pause and celebrate that we're still here.
Yeah.
And we're still breathing. But in our working, hurrying, worrying culture, we don't often have opportunities to stop and just celebrate being alive. And the truth is, we've all been through a lot. And but we are here and we are breathing. And I think this Easter gives us an opportunity just to celebrate that we're still here. And resurrection is this beautiful thing. You know, I think God is the stuff of life. And so when we're celebrating and paying attention to our aliveness, even though there may be challenge or struggle, I think that's when God is most present, most near, most experienced. So when we're most keenly aware to being alive, I think we experience God more deeply. That's why when you experience birth, you know, there's something about children being born, you feel alive.
Yes.
There's a sense of God's presence in that. Or at death, there's this sense of a caring, loving presence. So this Easter, more than ever, we may need to be together and remind ourselves that resurrection is happening all around us, and there are these endless, unexpected possibilities that God is at work in our lives still. So that's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah.
And God meets us in the lowest moments. He meets us often when we feel like we have no more strength to go on. But we really are living in a world in the midst of rescue.
Yeah.
And so I need Easter, and I need to be with other people who are praying for resurrection to find their hearts and their lives in a meaningful way too.
Yeah. And I know, George, we talked about that on the most recent podcast about tuning hearts and the importance of coming together. So I know that there's a lot of churches there are some churches that are meeting in person. There are some churches that are still meeting online, and a lot of churches are kind of shifted to online just for the time being, because it seems to be a good way for them to operate. But I know when you first started thinking through View Church, community was everything, especially coming together. And so can you chat a little bit about, I know a lot of people are probably, I had a friend of mine telling me this morning that he went out to dinner with his wife for the first time this weekend, and it was really overwhelming. He said he felt like he was sneaking out when he was a kid again, because it's been so long since people have been able to come out, and some people have obviously, kind of already been safely getting out and having dinner. But it may provoke some anxiety for people that are considering attending live, but they've been kind of just like us. We've been holed up for a full year. So can you talk about the importance? We'll talk about the safety protocols that you're following later, but can you talk about why you think it's so important for people to really attend and be there with other people versus this online Zoom kind of environment that we've all gotten accustomed to?
Yeah, I think we all just want to connect in the best ways that we can. So Zoom has helped us in that way, but in a lot of ways we're working on it. We're trying to connect on it personally and have our spiritual experience on it too. So in some ways we've grown weary of it, but I think we're all grateful for it. So, and I think it's important that everyone feels comfortable to do what they feel safe with. So no judgment in any way that someone's not ready to come out yet. But I'll tell you what my experience has been. This work that I've done for now over 30 years, there's something that I feel when the church gathers on Sunday morning that I can't let go of. Like when people gather and they worship and they bring their hearts together, some people celebrating, some people grieving, something happens in those moments. And so there's something really powerful and meaningful that moves my heart and moves my life in those experiences. So I naturally tend to gravitate toward, wanting to be together with people, because there is this energy, there is this love, there is this experience of being cared for in the midst of that can't be replaced in any other way. So even in our technological world today, where we can connect on social media, we still need the embodied presence of one another and how God meets us in that. That's still valuable and meaningful. But we just want to encourage everyone to navigate, what is best for them. And when they're safe, or when they feel safer and are ready. Lots of people getting vaccinations now. So let people navigate on their own, and we trust that, God will direct all of us toward what's going to be best for each of us.
And I can echo what you said. I was surprised, one of our first preview services, just hearing people sing together. I was emotional, and I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared for it had been so long. I mean, you're used to listening to music in your ears, or you're working, and everything just kind of it sneaks up on you over the year that we've all had, being locked up in our houses and not being able to see people. But and obviously live concerts aren't happening. And I was just really overwhelmed by how uplifting it was to hear everyone sing together, and having Nick guide us through that. And I know that you've known Nick for a long time, and y'all been working hard over the past couple of weeks, really over the past year, getting a worship service where it is communal, where it's not this kind of show where you come in and attend and you just kind of sit back and watch. It's something that's meant to kind of really tune your heart towards God and to experience it, because we talk about that on the podcast a lot. Is, we can think about God, we can think about community, but it really is in the experience that we're changed. And so I can echo my own heart was deeply touched, and I didn't realize how much I needed it. I think that's something that people that have been coming over the past few preview services have experienced, is didn't even realize how much they've missed it, how much they've needed just even a 6 feet fist bump or a elbow bump or whatever it takes. People don't realize how we're just designed to connect with each other. We really are. And so I know that you guys have taken a lot of protocols. George, you're at the Ford Eye Center. So obviously, being in the Ford Eye Center, you have to follow all of their protocols. So right now, you're at 50 per service. Is that correct? Walk through just a little bit of the safety protocols for anybody that hasn't been able to come, that's kind of curious to be like, okay, I want to come, but is it safe? Are you taking precautions, or is it just kind of a free for all? And I know that you are, but it is something I want you to address, just to kind of some of the precautions you're taking to make sure that everybody is safe and it's safe to come.
Yeah. Well, we're required to wear masks in the facility, yet still there's hand sanitizer everywhere. And in between services, we're going to sanitize, the chairs and the seats and the surfaces. But mostly it's just, limiting it to 50 and spreading out the space enough so people can find a safe distance that they feel comfortable. So they could be as close or as far as apart as they need. But we're just doing the best we can, to make it as safe as we can. Yeah. And just to begin meeting right now.
And an important thing is we're not meeting on the ice rink. This is the Ford Eye Center.
No.
In the
you're always welcome after the service
to get a
pair of rental skates and a stick and go out there and skate if you want. But no, we're meeting in it's called the club room. We're calling it the Holy Living Room.
Yeah,
at the Ford Eye Center. Yeah,
and it is a beautiful space, and it is very open. So it's not super closed in, and I want to touch base on kind of how to get to. I know that's another point of anxiety is, okay, the Ford Eye Center is big, and I don't really know how do I even get started to get to where I'm supposed to go. And then again, these are little things that I know that people that are visiting will kind of have questions, and where do I park, all that kind of stuff. Do you want to hit some of those logistics real fast for anybody that may be coming for the first time about how to get to where the meeting space is and maybe where to park that's easiest and most convenient?
Yeah, sure. The Ford Ice Center has a parking lot right in front of it, and the Ford Ice Center is connected to the Bellevue Community Center. So they're the same building, just they have separate entrances. So if you pull into the Ford Ice Center and cannot find parking, right across the street, there's plenty of parking, and there's a walkway to walk up to the Ford Ice Center. So you could park in front of the Ice Center, across the street from it, and also we discovered there's some parking around back too. Behind the Ford Ice Center, and there's walkways all around the building. So you would come around to the front of the building, you enter to the left of the community center. That's where the Ford Ice Center entrance is. So when you come in, when you RSVP, your name's given to the Ford Ice Center. So when you come in, they'll just ask you for your name. They check you off. You turn left and head down a big open hallway, and there's an elevator or there's steps up to the second level. When you come up the elevator or up the steps, you would immediately turn to the right, and the club rooms are right there. The Holy Living Room at the Ford Ice Center is right to the right. So when you get up to the top on the second level, go right, and you'll see. And we're looking for you. I mean, I know that a lot of times, George, you're kind of doing your best to be available pre-service, but there's always, anytime you're doing a service with a setup and tear down, there's always some kind of kink, some kind of gremlins to work out. So I'll be there, right there at the very front of and we have greeters that'll be looking for you. Like I come from very much I used to visit a lot of churches when I first got to Nashville, and I've got some really bad stories about what that experience was like, because it is so overwhelming. So I'm almost always thinking of people that
are coming that are brand new, that it's very anxious, and we get that. We understand that there is a lot of anxiety visiting a church for the first time, but we want you to know that you're very welcome, and we're looking to create a space for you that you're not going to be singled out or anything awkward like that. We just want you to have a space to come if you want to celebrate Easter and to really lean into. If you spend much time around George, you're going to really start to experience and hear his heart for love and joy through it all. And I think that's just such an important time right now that we don't lose the essence of our hope and joy in God. We can't, we've been through a lot, but that does not mean that that we're left there, right? And I think that you said that recently in a post where for you, it's the resurrection's daily. The resurrection is something that you experience moment to moment, and that's some of what you're going to be talking about on Sunday. So if you're like me and you have children and you want to know where can I bring my kids, when can I bring my kids, let's hit the kids thing, and then we'll kind of wrap up.
Yeah, the kids are meeting right behind us, so the club rooms break up, and so there's two spaces right behind the club room. So when you come up, there are windows, and that's where the kids' entrance is, and so there'll be kids workers there to greet the kids. Both 9 and 10:30, we'll have kids services, and our kids are called Wild and Free in the most beautiful way, in the most pure ways that they can be, because there's this wondrous, adventurous spirit of children that we want to engage with. And so play, curiosity, creativity, joy, God's never-ending love for them and others. We want them to experience that in a beautiful ways. And so one of the things that the kids team is really working hard at is to engage hearts. You engage kids' hands, and so they make
That's
things.
awesome.
As they're telling Bible stories, as they're learning about God's love, they're always trying to engage them in some way where they're using their hands, and they have something to take with them, to take home to remind them of what they had learned on Sunday. So really excited about Wild and Free Kids and the kids workers that we have that have been helping us now. So it'll be a great experience. And you essentially you check them in there. We have a remote check-in, so when you RSVP, you already give us your kids' names, but it's an easy process. So, and we're just excited to love families entirely, including their little ones. Now, we only have up to grade school right now for these Easter services, but hopefully soon we'll be able to expand our.
And grade school, walk people through what ages you're talking about, George, or what grades specifically.
It's up to grade school, up until first grade.
Okay.
So yeah, and then our kids are welcome in the service. Our services aren't they're 45 to 50 minutes right now, so they're not too long. There's lots of music, and so we welcome families to worship together, especially on this Easter.
Absolutely.
So, so we're not discounting that age group. We want them to be with us.
Right. And I know that it's very safe, very clean. I mean, I know when I had my babies, I was like, oh man, but I know that, Debbie and Carrington take a great care of the kids. And every time I walk in there, I'm like, I mean, I like the service, but I'm kind of liking it in here kind of too. So it's like, it is a wonderful, wonderful space. Well, we really appreciate anybody that eventually watches this. If you have any questions, you can obviously comment below. We're going to put the RSVP link below in this live video, and we're going to try to do these more often. But I just want to encourage you that I've known George for a long time. We've been, as you can see, we get a little giggly around each other, and it's because there's a lot of love and a lot of rapport with each other. And I've been in and out of churches my whole life and have always craved really an authentic space. I want real. I just want authenticity. The older I get, the more I want authenticity. And I can tell you from my own personal experience that that's what you'll get with View Church and with George. And if you want to know a little bit more about George and kind of the church and everything, check out the podcast. That's why we do it, because you'll get to hear a little bit about, there's even an episode with the elders, the leadership board. And one of the most recent episodes we did is about tuning our hearts, which is kind of how the hearts really are. When fear happens, you can kind of stay in your head, but the heart is really a beautiful space to tap into. And it's really where we connect to God and others and find our own passion and meaning. And it won't take many episodes for you to hear George's and I's energy around love and joy, and we take it real seriously. George takes joy very seriously. So if there's one thing you can expect coming on Sunday or any Sundays moving forward, is that you'll be taken care of, and it's going to be an authentic space for you to be and be just as you are. So you guys, please, if you have any questions, let us know. The RSVP link will be below. Come out, bring your kids. They can sit in your lap. They can sing. I've been in churches. I have 2 children. They're 6 and 4 years old, and I would absolutely bring my kids to this service because it's an open space and we want them to celebrate. And Easter is a time of family celebration. So make sure and take a chance if you're out there and you're trying to find something in the Bellevue community. We would love to have you. And there's a lot of great churches out there. We're just one of them. So, George, is there anything else you want to close out with?
I just want to say that Easter is about the reception of new life. And so I just want to extend an invitation to anyone that's considering coming. We'd love to have you. We're going to celebrate the reception of this new life and be willing to let go of the old and embrace this new spirit for new life in whatever way that we all need it. And I love what Jesus says to his friends after resurrection. He says, peace be with you. They've been through some horrible things. Yeah. You know, the guy that they loved and were following, you know, was killed, and they just think it's all over. And then Jesus shows up on a shoreline and says, peace be with you, and has breakfast with them. And so I think that's the spirit that we want to open our hearts to, is to find this peace and joy and meaning for living again, no matter what it is that we're going through. And that's what resurrection is all about. And it's happening all around us. It's springtime right now. So we don't have to look very far to see resurrection. And so just an invitation to open our hearts to this new life, because we need it now more than we ever have. So please take the chance. And if it's not on Easter, hopefully we'll see you soon at some point here in the future. But peace be with you all.
All right. We love you guys. If you have any questions, you know where to find us, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.